Hi all, Venny here. Welcome to my inaugural Let's Play. Today we'll be covering some intermediate tactics around smuggling and making some serious cash doing so. Now, I start because with some warnings at first, because a lot of you may have some concerns about smuggling. I know there's a moral stance out there, so if you don't care to engage in human trafficking within Elite, you should probably not watch this guide because that's basically all we'll be doing. Also, if you are a die-hard open fan, and you're free to do so, this is also probably not the guide for you. Some of the reasons for that are basically there's certain mechanics within the game that just are not balanced whatsoever, one of which is profit making, which is not scaled based on types of missions or challenge or time cost, which is why we're willing to engage in human trafficking here. And within open, there's also some finicky challenges with that, in that players can scan you while you're in station and you have no ability to prevent it. That also, in my book, lands in the exploit behavior, same as combat logging, for example, because there is no way to mitigate it. That being said, the final warning, we will be mission scumming here, so if you are averse to mission scumming and switching instances to generate missions, also probably not the guide for you. But those warnings aside, we will be covering intermediate level smuggling tactics, and I will be doing this as probably a multi-part set of a single continuous run to see how much money you can actually make, what it takes, what you should look for, how to prep for it, and some of the tactics along the way to avoid getting scammed. If you have not looked up any kind of smuggling guide before now, I highly recommend it. I'll be linking both the text guide that this is actually a companion to, as well as some other great fellows doing excellent guides, not just on smuggling, but in general, including that tiny dude, Squid of Love, Trobe Barton, and Scott Manley, all excellent players, not just within Elite, but in general, and their guides will be linked below as well. So do check them out, send them a sub, they do excellent work, those guys. So, that being said, welcome to the Smugglers Way. So, the first thing you need to know as a smuggler is your goal is to take high demand goods from one place in the middle of nowhere to some place in the middle of somewhere. That's basically what long range smuggling is, and it's all mission focused. The best commodity that you'll be smuggling is slaves, because they happen to be exactly what people want to move from A to B. It's not an elegant job, nor very moral, but it sure makes us a lot of cash. It does make you so much cash that if you are just starting out, you may skip a lot of ships, and you may miss out on some really great fun piloting some lower end ships and gain access to them and fighting, but you can always go back and buy them again, so there is that option. But off the go, where do you go first? Well, let's take a look. You can see we're here in Robigo Mines, in famous Robigo. We can go ahead and see where that is in the galaxy. You can see overall, if we zoom out, we can see bubble space from power play. And we're a ways out. In fact, trying to get to Kamadenu as I'm aligned to Ald right now. Yeah, it's a bit of a ways. We can switch back to the map. 522 light years. So it's a bit of a jaunt. Luckily, we're not going to have to get that far. We're actually only going to be going to the edge of bubble space. So, that being said, you might wonder where it is and might forget where it is. It's on the other side of Fed space. And one thing I can recommend is if you do head out this way, find a station nearby where you can plop an extra ship just to mark where you're supposed to look. I've found Almagest is probably the closest. I have never actually accessed this ship. It's Hauler, I believe, which I love using as a taxi. But at least it gives me a reference point as to how close I am to Robigo if I decide to go smuggling. So, why am I smuggling today? Well, partly it's because I want to at least make this Let's Play before this whole strategy gets nerfed in 2.1, which I fully expect will happen because they are revamping the entire mission system, and I really hope they do a good job with it because it sounds like they're going to do some excellent progressions. I just hope they scale some of the rewards and some of the investment you do for that to go with it. That being said, you will not be able to switch instances to generate missions. What you see is what you get, but the tactics still used within this guide are probably going to be relevant. Now, what do you need to get started? Well, first you need to find Robigo. If you know where that is, you need to get yourself a ship. You can see here, in terms of overall where I'm at, I'm pushing about 90 million credits. I actually need more because I really want to fit out a nice little power play vessel, and that takes some armor, and the advanced armor in terms of reactive armors do cost a lot. In terms of the overall modules, we might as well go ahead and check the outfitting. Oh, lo and behold, who'd have guessed it? Robigo does not have any outfitting. So, be warned, if you come here, you will be stuck with what you bring. There's also no shipyard, so you're not going to be able to buy something and turn around. So, that's why Almagest is a very nice little spot, because it does have a shipyard with a very basic shipyard. But otherwise, you're stuck with what you get. The benefit is, if we take a look at overall services, we will be able to refuel, we will be able to reload, and we will be able to repair. So, otherwise, we'll be able to at least repair what we bring out here. So, in terms of the overall fit, you can see I've got my Cobra Mark III, which is an absolutely excellent smuggling ship. I will be doing a build that's a little more risky than a lot, but that's also because the strategy is a little different. Within that, we're looking at a thrusters, a power distributor, a fuel scoop of class 4A, nice light life support D, a frameshift drive, of course, we're trying to jump as fast as we can, some D sensors, because quite honestly, we're actually not going to get into combat. Heat launchers, because everyone loves heat launchers, they're useful in many ways, as we will find out. A power plant, and that's about it. We obviously have something missing. Weapons, no weapons. Yes, we are an avoidance build. We will not be doing anything but avoiding combat. Why? Because this is a fast little ship. So we will be avoiding all of our combat using our speed. So, now that we've got a ship, you've got out there, and yes, I will link some fits down below, but they're also going to be cross-linked within the text guide that I will also link below. So you can take a look. There's some progression in terms of the ships you can use. In terms of the overall ship itself, well, we can't look at it, but it's roughly about under 5 million to fit this whole thing out. It does have reinforced armor just in case we do take a shot. Very important, because sometimes they do have NPCs do have rails. We're not going to be worried about players, but for the most part, it should be an interesting journey. But it will only cost you about 5 mil to start. Make sure you leave enough for some rebuys and some padding. If you really want to be safe, 5.5, 6 million, excellent place to start. You can get yourself a Cobra and head on out. That being said, the expected returns we're looking at are in the neighborhood of about, depending on your trade rank, probably about anywhere from 8 to 15 mil an hour with a Cobra. You can see in terms of my trade rank, I'm Tycoon. I'm working hard at it. As that gets up there, you'll get access to more systems or more missions, and yeah, that will help you out in terms of making you more profitable. But as long as you're down around merchant, you should be fine. The other benefit with this is that as missions complete, as of at least 2.005, smuggling missions you complete will go towards your trade rank, which is an excellent way to get your trade rank up there. So that's going to be dual purpose for me today, to try and up my trade rank and up my profit margin. So that being said, what we're going to be looking for is to grab a few missions. So we might as well take a look at what's out there so you can have an eye as to what you're looking for. While that's loading, we can take a look at my inventory. You can see with no shields, I can hold up to 44 tons, which is kind of a sweet spot number in my book. The main reason that's a sweet spot is trying to figure out which missions you can select. Let's take a look at some of the ones I can't. You can see you need some elite trade rank for some. And sometimes you need a huge amount of slaves in terms of transport. Again, they are slaves, they are people. Let's not be too hard on ourselves or on them for being in the position they are. But One thing you can do for some of you entrepreneurs out there is if you do feel like reaching all the way out here with a Python, you could actually take those slaves, go ahead and sell them, and then abandon the mission. Eventually, they'll put you in bad standing. But for the most part, there's an easy way to make a couple mil. It's a bit exploitive. So, I leave it to you to decide that. I personally don't bother because the way I'm going to be smuggling is way easier than counting on these missions showing up because they are few and far between. They were nerfed in 2.0.04 and unnerfed apparently in 2.0.05. No idea how that works, but that's where I started seeing them. Regardless, you can see the payouts are in the millions. That's not going to surprise you if you've done some of the early guides. I do have Horizons, so I do have surface missions, and I'm not averse to using them if they're the right money. What you are looking for, though, is shadow deliveries. These secret cargo runs can be attractive. They are high highs in terms of reputation and influence, so if you are grinding some of that Empire rank, and this is an Empire station, these could be attractive, but quite honestly, the amount of risk and time they put on you is probably not worth it, especially since shadow deliveries are, high mediums. Like, it's not too bad. That being said, what we're looking for is we only have 44 tons of cargo. The main cost when you're smuggling is not in the distance traveled, because we have to go maybe 350, maybe 380 light years. The cost you'll see is getting interdicted by NPCs, because every interdiction is a long, long time. The other kicker there is every interdiction, or every mission you take, is a chance for an interdiction. In fact, almost like about a 25 to 33% chance every system jump you go in. So the more missions you take, the higher chance that you'll get an NPC spawn. Sorry, that's 25 to 33% of an NPC spawn. About 1/3 or 2/3 of NPCs are going to want to interdict you. That includes 1/3, which will be system authority police that will scan you actively. 1/3, which will be pirates looking for your cargo, and 1/3, which will be just guys trying to peddle information to try and convince you to abandon your mission. We'll ignore that last third because they are kind of the most friendliest bunch you can have. They come in, they say hello, and they go and drop out super cruise, which is something we love. The other two, they'll cost us time. So we try and keep our missions to at least a reasonable medium. What we're doing is regardless of your cargo hold, and I will be linking a more advanced fit that does involve some weapons tactics, which you can find in I believe it's Tro Barton's guide. He shows some great ways to avoid getting scanned with some weapon action, I believe. It's a fit that takes a little more money, like definitely in the 50 mil range, but can get you up to 25 mil an hour if you work it right. But it's higher risk because there's some situations where, due to some of the game mechanics, you will be stuck in a position where you cannot win. You will get scanned and you will lose all your bounties. So why do I say all that about scanning? Hopefully you've watched some of the intro videos. All these missions and shadow deliveries will fail if ship is scanned. That's not the start of the scan, that's the end of scan. A scan takes about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Ships will start scanning you when they pass get within 1.6 kilometers of you. In fact, they'll probably start right away because they drop in on you 500 meters off your hull. But if you get beyond 1.6 kilometers, I prefer to use 2 kilometers as a reference point, and we'll see why. They will not finish their scan. And so if you can boost away past 2 kilometers faster than they can travel, their scan will not finish and you'll be good, which is why this is a no shield, full speed build. So, that being said, we can take a look at what's out there to offer, what we're looking for in terms of an optimal number of missions, I've got my own little formulas in the back. You can play it by ear, but I find about 8 to 12 missions are about the sweet spot for what you're looking for. That means, in terms of total cargo, you're looking at averaging about 3 to 5 tons per mission. That comes out, if you're a credit per ton kind of person, you're looking to average out about 250 to 400 credits per ton. If you can average more than that, great. But you're really looking to try and maximize the lump sum profit of your actual missions. So here we can see a couple. We got like 1.7 for 6, so we were about 300k. That's kind of attractive. but it is only 1.7. Here we have 1.21, so here we got another good one. Still, that's really nice. That's 500K per ton with a small hold. But down here we got 3.436 for 12. Well, that's even better because we only have to risk ourselves for one system to make almost double what the average of the other two are, but we do have to take about 3 times more cargo. But if you do the math, we got 12, 2, and 5, right? So we're looking at about 19 tons, or sorry, that was, and 6. 8, 2, so we got 8 there, plus the 12, we got 20, and we're looking at about 6.25 mil for 20. That's still about 300K. If we take all of these missions, we're actually still pretty well on our way. We got 3 missions under our belts. We still got another 5 to 9 to look for, and all in all, pretty good set. So we're gonna go ahead and grab all those. And we have our beautiful random standby. Oh, we lost one of our options, and it goes to show you, I actually believe I grabbed the most expensive of the 2 up there, which was the smart move, because sometimes these missions disappear. So let's go ahead and grab the lower. And you'll notice now that I did not bother looking at which system is involved, and there's a reason for that. In terms of the total loading time, in terms of loading your galaxy map, loading your system map, finding the system loading your galaxy map, finding the system you're interested in, opening the system map for that system to determine how far away a station is from your target without actually having a marker there, takes a lot of time. In fact, it takes more time to do that than to actually travel an extra 1,000 or 2,000 light seconds. So we'll cover some of that later, but I just avoid looking at which system to go to because, quite honestly, it's worth it to just dump a mission if you see it's outside your range once you get there. You're looking for speed, you can do that. That's how I run it. If you feel like you really want to know and avoid the ones that are extra long, well, you can check them if you want. I feel it's a bit of a waste of time. But that being said, what we've got here is we've got no more missions. Well, we're going to do what some people totally object to, and we're going to go ahead and flip to another entry. So we're going back to the main menu, and even though we're not going to play in open, we can still get open play going because they still can't scan you when you're just inside the system. So here we go. We're back in open. We're going to go ahead and load up Robigo. Let's see what the bulletin board has for us today. We got a lot more missions here. And remember, we're looking for ones with high dollar figures. And we have some unobtainables at 6, but we see some beautiful ones here. We got 3, we got 4, another 3, and another 4. So let's see what we got. 4 million credits for 3 slaves. I don't even care where you're at. We're taking that one. Alright, we're up to 4 missions, remember. A quick little, well, let's let that finish. And we'll check what we've got in the hold. The lovely standby of doom. If they introduce a blue screen of death, I am going to be frustrated. So we're at, we're halfway. And if we look at our total transactions, we've only got 3 missions. Halfway with 3 missions means we're probably going to want to make sure we're sticking to the lower end of the number of things we want to take. So 12 is tempting, but we're running out of space. So let's see. 12 for 4, that's about 300. Let's see if some of these others are any good. Let's see. 3.8. 3.8 for 10, that's about the same, slightly better. 3 for 3, yes please. I'll take some of that. And again, some of the loading times on this game could definitely be improved. I'm in the US on the West Coast, so maybe some of that is involved. But here we are, we got 4 shadow deliveries going. And we've got 24. Well, you know what? These are pretty high value, and we're what, at 4? Okay, I'm not going to break my own rules. I'm going to say let's take one more. We're going to take the one that's probably worth more. Let's see, that's 4.1 for 12, 3.8 for 10. So 3.8k versus What'd that be? 36. Yeah, that's actually going to be really close. Let's go for the 3.8 for 10 just to save some cargo space. So let's go ahead and accept that. Now, some of these might be lemons. Some of these I might end up in a system with 100 light seconds to go, and we're just going to ditch those when I get there. So right now, don't have enough for that mission. We're down to our last 10 in terms of space, and we've got 5 missions. So we're looking for anywhere from 3 to 5 more. I'm going to go ahead and, again, switch instances. I'm going to use one of the group private instances, which I find are actually have a more independent bulletin board than the privates. You can see some of my friends here. You see myself and Fugi. And I'm also part of the 9th Legion. Great folks. This is actually a guide built with a lot of information found in coordination with Peach Slices V, who is the master of the SRV base jumping events. You should check them up. They are plenty fun. I'll also cross-link that. Megalomaniac is actually our resident videographer for those and does some excellent work. So check that out in the description as well. So here we go. And if you check the time, I believe we started at about 2:43, so you know we're spending some time in here getting these missions. One thing I'd recommend is don't be too picky when you're picking up these missions. Limit yourself to about 12 to 15 minutes. And let's see our bulletin board. Another standby of doom. Here we go, yet more. So we have some unobtainables, but we do have 4. We know it's less than 10 because that's all we got. And it's 9. So actually we've got a debate here for the purpose of just being slightly more efficient. I'm going to go ahead and accept this. So we only have 1 ton left, and I'm going to do something and try my hardest to see if we can optimize. So right now, half mil for the data handler. You don't want the data handler missions. They are usually very short. That one's actually not too bad. 2 hours, 57 minutes. I have a feeling that might be a very far outpost, though. A lot of the time, those data missions are going to be very short-lived, and whenever you see a long time, I usually get a little nervous. So you know what? Just to fill in, I would not usually do this, but it is a half mil. Let's take a look at the data they want us to take. Let's give it a shot. We got missions. We're not quite up to our limit of 8. So we'll pad that with a little cheap half mil. We've got, what, 7 missions now? Yeah, 7 missions. Making some good money there. And we're going to do our last little flip over back to solo. I like to stick in solo just for consistency's sake. And we will go with that. And again, switching instances, they are a time cost, so don't sit there and say, oh, it's free, you're gonna switch missions for free. Well, kinda. That's why I'm really hoping their new mission adjustments fix all that. Alright, so we're a long ways in already. You know, we're talking 10 minutes in, we're about ready to get going. Available but unobtainable. Alright, well, so much for that, you know, maybe. Ooh, some of these are very tempting. Very tempting indeed. Look at that. 4. 4 and 4. That is so tempting. Oh, you know what? We may just do something silly. Here's another thing you can do. If you want, all you need are slaves. They don't need to come from Robigo. You may need to find one. Find a place where they do sell slaves. And this is just too promising. 1 mil per ton. I'm going to do something interesting. We've got 1 ton of cargo space. We need 8 total. I'm going to go ahead and you can actually sell slaves back in Robigo, which is, again, a bit of an exploit, kind of, but not really. I'm going to sell 7 to make room for those 2 missions, because they are just so promising. There we go. Alright, let's see. We got 4-4. Let's grab that one. And now it's going to be a kicker if I lose the other one. Oh, there it is. 4-4. Let's do that. Bingo.
At maximum capacity.
Really? I did not expect that. All right, we don't need more data handlers. We don't need any of that. We've got all our missions. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, 9. We beat our 8, you know, and we're looking at what? 4.3, 4.3, so 8.6, about 9. That's going to be 13 and a half, 16, 17.4, 20, 24, 24, 20, well, 27 and a half, 28, 28 and a quarter, 28 and a quarter mil right now for 8 missions. So now it's time to get to work. All right, first things first. I hope you guys know your KGB foam. If you don't know your KGB foam or your fueling strategies, please do look that up. It is very essential. They represent the stars you can scoop at and the stars you can't. We have a 4A fuel scoop, and we will not be able to get there without scooping. So here you can see, wow, all of them are pretty clustered. You see a bunch of my marked ships. If we go ahead and back to Paraplay, you can see it's pretty much right at the edge of bubble space, right? So that's a pretty nice cluster. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to want to hit either the most valuable or the nearest system. So we got Nomarini, and let's go back to map. It's a little easier to catch them. And Vandar. All right, well, let's take a look at the system maps. This is the only time I'd recommend it, because this is where you can actually see how far away they are. 53, that's actually a really good system to go to. We're going to plot there just in case. That's just going to be sweet. Definitely when you go to the galaxy map, if you find an opportunity to, and you have the luxury of hitting one of your systems, always plot a course to your end station. It will help you later. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and just double check. Oh, we don't have system data for that. I'm not even going to bother with trafinging. We're probably going to see how that goes. But you can see here, I don't have enough fuel to get all the way there. That's going to be problematic. So what we need to do is to actually start figuring out how are we gonna get there. So what we want to do is to go ahead and start filtering down. I seem to have some other filters here. You can see I don't have every star, even though I'm actually really close to the average. There we go. Now we're in the same plane. So you can see a T, KGB foam doesn't include a T, so there's nothing there. KGB foam includes it there. What you can do is just start clicking from the bottom until you hit KGB foam, M being the lowest class planet. So let's take a look. We've got 1 fuel star, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Whew. We got a lot of jumps that we can't actually fuel at. That is disconcerting. That's probably because we're pretty full up on where we at. Oh no, there we go. Easy plane change. Just gotta draw it up. So here we only see KGB foam stars, right? We got the K, G, B, F, O, A, M stars. They're just these top ones. And we can see no star there, so, but we got a star right after. So we got 1 unfueled star, fuel, fuel, fuel. You can see it's orange there. Fuel, more fuel. More fuel, yeah, there's an F, nice white star. You know, M. Yeah, look at that. We got fuel all the way home. We got oh, well, no, another missed jump. You can usually miss 1 jump. You've got about 5 jumps fully laden. And we actually are fueled up all the way home here. So that is absolutely spectacular. We don't even need to worry anymore. All right, we're ready to go. We took a little extra time. We're about 15 minutes in. And we're going to undock. Now, undocking is going to be the same regardless of which station you're at. Robigo's no exception, but big stations, the regular large massive massive stations, those have cops around them, and they'll scan you coming in or coming out. So your main goal is to get out there and boost directly away from the station as fast as possible. Not necessarily towards your next destination. Just get away from that station. You want to be outside 8 kilometers, basically, to have any chance of not being scanned by station forces. So, regardless if you're on an outpost or a station, you want to boost immediately away from the station. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and launch, get this show on the road. Just to give you an idea of how long we're going, 19 jumps. 19 freaking jumps. All right, well, here's the good thing. I already know that every jump's about 45 seconds. That's going to be the 15-second cooldown from your frame shift, the 15-second cool up, and the 15 seconds while you're jumping. What we're going to do is, since we need so much fuel on the way and we got such a big fuel scoop, we are going to scoop while we're frame shift cooling and frame shift warming up. So immediately take your landing gear off, full speed, and go, 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 go. Keep it going. You can see we're hitting 420, 430 laden. That's more than enough to beat almost anything but maybe some of the elite Imperial Eagles, Elite Viper 3s, DBSs. And we're not mass locked. Let's go ahead and charge that. I'm going to do the same thing that I do normally. Keep boosting. As long as you're boosting away, you're fine. You don't worry about facing it until you're charged up. You're almost there. Do a nice little boost turn around. That'll fishtail you a bit, and then it's saying align. Well, we're already throttled up. You saw the delay there? That's because it's not waiting for your nose to point towards your target, but for your velocity to point towards your target. Some of you fly in the bigger ships, you might notice that a lot more frequently. That's exactly what's going on. Is you're fishtailing a bit, your velocity vector is perpendicular to your nose. And here we are. First things first, we're going in. And a lot of people say that when you get into these systems, you can see, oh, we got a system authority in our chat. You want to pay attention to that. And what you'll notice is I'm doing a halo turn while we cool down and while we're charging. I can't see the guys because I don't have an advanced scanner on me, and we're overheating now, so I'm going to burn a heat sink. But I do know there's a system authority vessel out there, and I'm not going to take a chance. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a halo turn around the crown of a star until I align, and I'm going. Some people recommend turning your tail towards the sun. I just find that sometimes the system authority jumps in on you right away and instant interdicts you if you take the time to actually try and align that. So I go immediately into a turn. Sticking around the halo means you're not going around the entirety of the sun, and you're still making it hard for your opponents to. So let's keep an eye on our chat. We got good job. I found you. You're a hard one to track down. That might be a pirate. There you are. Important information. Good job, I found you. I don't care. Most of those are pretty easy. Follow my wake, follow my wake. Sadly, this isn't a scoopable star. And we're starting to run into heat trouble. I'm going to use another heat sink. Try not to use too many of those. You'll need them later. And we'll throttle up. So part of that, too, is keep an eye on that. Because if you're at a scoopable star and all you have are guys trying to sell you information, that's actually not a bad time to sit there and top up your tank all the way. I'm sitting here topping up while I'm waiting for the frame shift cooldown. I'm trying to be lickety-split on that because everything takes time. See, we have some system information. Maybe we'll see some company. Good there you are, information, track down. This looks like a pretty fun crew. I'm gonna take this opportunity to really yeah, they're all following the wake. You'll see this nice cluster of white. I'm gonna fuel scoop completely. There we go. And then take my time, get out of there. Beautiful. Right? Like even here, we'll turn it off. We got nothing. They're all done here. So this is a great time. If you're short on fuel, you look for these situations because you can take your time, have a drink, enjoy a little coffee, have a little party. You're good. So yeah, that being said, other times you're going to be hard pressed. Sometimes there's multiples, and we still haven't been interdicted yet, and we'll see how that goes. You'll see I still have all 4 pips to engines, 2 to assists, and none to weapons, because we have none. So, there's that. That keeps us nice and speedy. Another thing to consider when you're scooping and trying to warm up your frameshift drive, and maybe we'll have an opportunity for that, is that you can actually start activating your frameshift drive while you're scooping, and if you break out perpendicular to the sun at about 80%, you should actually be able to get out there without burning up. Let's see. Oh, good job. Ooh, there could be some pirates. I don't see red system authority. Those ones are the ones you really want to look out for. Please follow me. Beautiful, another great one. Alright, I'm going to let this go all the way around and I'll show you. What you can do is I'm holding until 80 and then boosting vertically away. And usually you can get away with, ooh, 102. Really close. 105. A little much, but you can usually break out about 75-80% from almost any sun and get out of there. It might have been because I didn't throttle up all the way. You'll see when I'm going into these, as soon as I jump in, I'm starting the turn. First thing I do is start the turn, and then I throttle down back into the sweet spot in the blue. That's to make sure my turn's as tight as possible, especially in cases where there might be system authority going on or somebody untoward. So there you are, there you are. Good job, I found you. Hard one. Yeah. If you see somebody say, oh, I'm happy I'm the first to find you, usually that's the pirate. He's happy because he managed to find you before everyone else stole your cargo. So going purely off the audio trigger, I could hear that little notification that my frameshift cooled down. I activate it immediately and pointed myself to the next station. And here we go. So it may be 19 jumps, but again, it's about 45 seconds per jump, just like clockwork. As long as you keep it lean. We haven't hit an interdiction yet. Through these interior systems, it's not as much, but remember, we have 9 missions, and as I was saying, every mission has about a 33% or 25 to 33% chance of triggering a spawn. See, good job, good job. Nothing here, but you can see we're getting 3 to 6 spawns per, and we've been lucky because most of them have rolled our way, and they tend to be information dealers. So the benefit there is we're not getting interdicted as much, and that's just luck. But we're still getting quite a few people. Now imagine instead of 9, if we had 16 or 20 missions, there'd be a way bigger chance that even one hostile would spawn into that group and cause us to slow down. It would cost us basically 2 jumps for every interdiction we face. So that's where that 8 to 12 mission sweet spot comes in, is to really try and avoid that. So hopefully we'll get some interdictions. Part of the goal of this is to show you guys what a real run looks like, and I've yet to do a run that's been non-interdiction involved. There we go. Good job, I found you first. So where's that Anakin? Can't see him on the scopes, but he is out there. He does want to take me. Oh, we got a little bit of obscured. That's also where Halo comes in handy. It tends not to obscure your target. And we're going to go ahead and charge. In this case, we're going to use a heat sink because we know that this Anakin fella, there he is. Oh, and a fast no less. There he goes, right into the sun. That is why we do Halo turns. He came straight at us, tried to get around us, and decided he wanted to bath in some nice Corona. Not the good kind, not the one you drink, but the Bernie kind that melts you. Yeah, there we go. That's the Halo. That's why people say turn your tail to the sun. I like the Halo because it forces them to maneuver in a very awkward fashion. We are now 11 jumps in. We got some more. Ah, you there? Ah, you there? We don't care about those fellas. Those are nice fellas. And there's our next. We're going to go 67, 72. Pull out. And we're nice 86. A nice cool 86. Neither of those guys are interested in us. So believe it or not, doing all this with 20 jumps is only going to take you about 12 minutes. And if you think about it, this total run, for those of you still with me, we're looking at about an hour and a half, 2 hours potentially here. Hopefully it'll be shorter, but be warned. And here we go, another Halo turn. Oh boy, let's see. Hard one. No, nothing untoward. I think most of these guys will be fine. I think yeah, we're done charging. Yeah, we're okay, guys. Don't need your help. We're all good. Now remember, we did sell 7 slaves earlier, so at one point we're gonna have to try and buy back some slaves. Hopefully there'll be a system near enough that we can go in and buy them, if not from one of the places that we dock at. That may be tricky, but we'll have to pay attention to that. Ah, nice cool star.
Fuel scooping.
Man, we're getting really lucky with these. There is no one but guys that want to help us. Oh, now they're obscured. We can pull away from the sun a bit because we know it's pretty safe. We don't need to be that close. Go ahead and activate. We might burn up a bit. I'm not gonna use any more heat sinks here. We got enough. We can take a bit of heat. We're almost there. Really, the only reason that we're concerned about heat is if we do this too often, then our cargo hatch might get damaged beyond repair and might start ditching cargo. You can disable the cargo hatch if you want. I've never really tried it. Some people say that it actually works. I honestly have not practiced that. But then again, I try not to have any of my modules disabled completely. So, don't panic. Yeah, they're great guys. Man, we are really doing well here. This is going to be fast until we actually hit a station with some police. Go, nose up, just to get out of that way. We don't want to use any more heat sinks on refueling, and we are 8 jumps left. This is going quick. But again, most of this is going to be in preparation to fund my FDL addiction. Once we get those new huge weapons and large weapons coming out, that's going to be fun. Get a nice large or huge multi-cannon or laser on the bottom of that FDL. That's gonna be gorgeous. Alright, so right now from this we're about, there we go, nice halo turn, right in place. Hey, we don't even have any company. Look at that, we don't even have to worry. You don't need to fuel up all the time. Remember, your fuel does take mass, so the more fuel you have, it does affect the amount you're gonna boost. So actually, this is a good time. We have no company here. Great time to check in on how far we are and whether we even need to refuel anymore. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, we still got a bit of refuel, so we're missing about 2 jumps worth. You can see we're losing maybe 15% of our fuel every time, so that should be 2 easy scoops. Again, I'm using a 4A fuel scoop. For anyone not purely PvP, just doing anything power play, anything with like long range travel, you're running a hunting party, anything really, especially smuggling. I really recommend flipping one of your larger hard points in for a fuel scoop. That's a nice overclass. You want to keep that scooping under a minute to have any real practical meaning. Still only informational, guys. Man, we are getting lucky. This is awesome. I'm going to take this opportunity to top up. Hopefully that will mean that we will be good to go pretty much the rest of the way. I'll do a hard turn away here, try and get ourselves back over into direction. Still a little. Come on, around the sun. There we go. Look at the draw. Oh, those 2 little low wakes, aren't they cute right there, hanging out by the sun? Oh, we're gonna burn a bit. Let's yaw away a bit and back. Not that many of you care yet, being my first video, but I do fly keyboard joystick right now, thanks to the unfortunate service and quality of SciTech joysticks. I would highly not recommend them. Madcats has definitely gone the wrong way on that crew, so right now I'm using a nice little old Logitech Extreme 3D Pro, which has been with me for way too long because they still made good hardware back in the day. We're going to skip the refuel because I don't think we need it. You can actually quickly check the galaxy map while you're doing that. Still one more jump. We'll need one more fuel scoop, so I'll make sure that one of these last systems are scoopable. Well, we already did actually, if we remember. We did our KGB foam filter, and pretty much all of these suns are going to be scoopable. Excellent. And we're gonna come in here, and we've got only, what, 5 more jumps it looked like? Let's see who's here to greet. Oh, there we go, instant. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna shut down engines. I'm gonna submit. Immediately, I'm gonna throttle up and boost like a bat out of hell. That's me boosting. I'm gonna hit silent running. I'm gonna throw one. You can see that I got a scan started. I'm gonna target him and I'm gonna zoom my map out. You see that second circle? That immediately means he's outside of 2 kilometers. The reason I submitted is I have no interest in running for 45 seconds. I'll run for just the 15 I need to, turn around as I get charged, get another boost in to fix my vector, and I'm good. He can do all he wants. He's not going to catch me, and that was even a Viper, so that's why we don't fit weapons, we don't fool around. Doing the silent running and doing the heat sink, that's more out of habit. That matters more when they're weaponized, because they will still interfere with weapons fire, just not with scans. Heat sinks, chafe, and silent running do not affect your scannability. You will honestly just not get away if you rely on those mechanics. Those have been nerfed for a while. Some of those guide videos I linked earlier, those are a bit old. They have a lot of good information, but some of them do talk about chafe being a way to deal with it. It does not work against NPCs. NPCs do not need to face you to scan you. They do not need to, chafe does not affect them. Their targeting does not affect them. They can even target you while you're in silent running. Their targeting is not affected by any mechanic in the game. But their weapons targeting is affected by chafe and silent running. They can still target you, and that means they can still scan you 360 degrees. They can scan you every time. And they will usually jump in right on top of you. Hopefully we'll see an example of that. It's one of the broken mechanics I feel Frontier could really do a better job on, is the fact that they're relying on abusing the broken mechanic of wing locking, because they will allow NPCs to wing lock you. That is how you get dropped in on, even though you're not being interdicted. If you drop back out of Super Cruise, they will wing lock you. And it's not a scanning mechanic. They don't need to scan your wake. They don't need to take that time. They will instantly lock on you and drop you out. Or drop out on you 500 meters off your ship. You can be moving. It won't matter. They'll still drop 500 meters off you. It's an abuse of the wing lock mechanic. I think it's just laziness in terms of prioritizing gameplay within the development department. I understand why they do it. I'm a software developer myself. But it's still frustrating. It's frustrating that the NPCs have such abusive mechanic, especially such a powerful mechanic. So here we go. We don't really need to scoop. We're just making sure we stay nimble until we're charged. We're going to go perpendicular, throttle up, and watch all of those dots hit the sun. They're so pretty. Alright, well this is actually our last jump here. If you notice, Innovandar was our final destination. This is why targeting the station within the system is so important, because when we get in there, we'll immediately know which station we need to go towards. However, I still highly recommend when you jump in, do a halo turn and find out what's out there, because if you start moving away, you will not know who's out there. Let them spawn. Let the NPCs come in. Let them tell you who they are. Right? Hard one to track down, still informational. There you are, important information. That's great. We're 53. We're still probably going to get another spawn, because that's how the mechanic works. We only have 53 light seconds. Beautiful. Smith Terminal. Hopefully you've looked at some approach videos. If you haven't done planetary approaches, know that there are some gravitational mechanics when traveling faster than light. I tend to use the planets to slow down. You will slow down up until you pass the planet, and then you will speed up with a bit of a gravity boost, it seems. What you want to do is make sure you're never below 6 seconds. 7 seconds is ideal. You want to work your throttle to kind of maintain that. And then as you get really, really close, oh, there we go, Utopian Overseer. This is one of the guys in power play. I'm going to take a risk here, and I'm going to go ahead and escape, because we got the gravitational pull. Hopefully that'll mess them up a bit. I moved all my pips into system. I found that that works best. I've moved my throttle into a sweet spot, and I'm just holding it pretty. And there he goes. Don't have to worry about him. Gonna go back on target. I'm gonna throttle down until I know how far I am. There we go, nice. 6 seconds. We're gonna come here nice and pretty. We are at a big station. So here's the thing. We're gonna go in, but we're gonna not approach the station right away because there are gonna be cops near there. We are gonna try and approach the station from the planet side. That's because the entrance to stations tend to point towards the body they are orbiting. Nice little easy convenience. So we're gonna go ahead, hit left. I'm gonna try and scrape the planet, and you'll see me throttle up because we're slowing down a lot here. We're 11 seconds. I'm gonna go full throttle. We're gonna get a little slowdown as we pass the planet. I'm gonna cut throttle, full throttle, and cut it again. There we go. Trying to keep that nice 7 seconds. We're below we're below 1,000 kilometers per second. I'm gonna boost it because we cannot speed up past that for the most part. And we're in. All right, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sit there and go silent running because I don't want anyone seeing me here. And we may have company because there may be parties in Super Cruise that were NPCs that will drop in on me. I don't know. So I'm gonna make sure I get some distance. I'm at 10. Yeah, there we go. Alright. We silent run. I don't need to use any silent running. We don't have any company. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this opportunity to align myself to the station. So I know roughly where we are. I'm gonna turn off flight assist just because it's easier to see. Turn it on, that way it lines up. We can see we're lined up nicely. Make sure that's not anyone nearby. No. Alright. Alright. Well, now we're gonna do the classic approach in silent running. We're gonna boost in. You don't want to boost when you're closer than about 4. We're in range for a docking request. We're going to quickly do that. We're going to boost again. And we're not going to boost anymore here. In fact, we're going to hit the brakes because the boost will end and it'll slow us down. And we're just going to nice and gently. Going to deploy the landing gear to slow us down more. We need pad 44. We're going to turn off silent running. And we're inside. The only thing that can scan us right now will be players, which is also another reason I don't do open, because we have way too much credit in this ship to actually do that. So let's go ahead and boost down. I like taking a little lesson from the auto lander, do a kind of vertical landing, come on down, nice and gentle, and we're in. Enter hangar, starport services. If you do it in that order, you can use this nice delay you have on the starport services to start your going into the hangar. It saves you a couple seconds, but it also gets you in the hangar. I like getting in the hangar because it removes you from the board, basically. I just repair all, refuel all. You don't necessarily need to refuel. I do it out of habit. And we're going to go ahead and go to bulletin board. And which mission is here? We didn't even check, so it's going to be kind of like a surprise. Sweet! One of the 4.5 million. Best situation you can have. One of our large payouts as the first thing. We're going to give them 9 out of our 44 slaves. Yes, please, sir. Hope you guys do well. And what we're going to do is, since we need 7 slaves, we're going to see if there's a black market. There isn't one. That's too bad, but not unexpected. So let's go ahead back into Galaxy Map. And let's grab our next point. Let's go with the nearest one we've got. And, why not? Let's purchase some data. That will give us the system map. We're going to go in. Whew. Okay. This is where you have to make a choice. Is it worth it? That's up for debate. I'll let you guys ponder that for a second, but I'm going to have to take a break here. And we'll start our cross-station segment as part of part 2 in terms of whether or not we want it. All right. See you in a few.